Good morning, everyone. It's Mike, and I am up about 6:40 in the morning. I'm actually going to pause this video. This is a video I just published. It was my second day vlog. Just published that. Just got up a little while ago, doing some more work like I normally do in the morning on the internet. I was updating cover photos and Raleigh community information. You can see, thankfully, Matthew is going to turn away. Unfortunately, look where it is. It's down there in Central Florida. And I know they're having a tough time right now, so I really hope and pray that everyone's okay. Let's just look at Hurricane Matthew. I mean, at this point, actually, when you see this in the future, it's going to be old history, but you know it's doing damage, unfortunately. Let's just hope that everyone evacuated and that it's less than they thought. It looks like you can see it's off the coast. It's not even actually getting onto the coast, which is a good thing. Hopefully it'll stay off the coast the entire time. Well, thank God for daylight. I ran out of daylight yesterday changing the oil, so I got to check the oil. I got the hood a little bit half open there. I got to open up the hood, check the oil levels, probably fill in a little bit, and clean up these messes before heading off to work. Driving through Rockville, Maryland. This town has really changed. This used to be the Mid-Pike Plaza over here on the right. It's now a bunch of high-rises, as you can see, or mid-rises. Lots of high-rises over here. I've had a pretty productive day, really busy working on the Veg Fest stuff right now. Had a couple of phone calls, couple of meetings, and overall, pretty good, pretty busy day. Hey, I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland right now. Been having a good, productive day. I actually was on the phone earlier with Facebook. Apparently, as you probably are aware, using Facebook, you can never seem to directly email somebody through a traditional email or talk to somebody. But I actually have been emailing somebody at Facebook and talking to somebody. I've been having a problem. For some reason, events that I create in groups, which are not normally boostable, but can be boostable through a page, and I'm trying to boost them through my nonprofit, plantbaseddiet.org. It's not working. For some reason, I'm getting all these error messages when I'm trying to pay to boost them. So we're checking into that. But I just want to let you know that they do have customer support. You can talk to a live human, and they're also very friendly. I'm in Potomac, Maryland now. This is actually where I grew up, and not in this exact spot. Actually, right near the edge of Rockville is where I grew up. And actually, when I drove by Wooten High School yesterday, that's where I went to high school. I forgot to mention that. But I also want to mention that you probably have heard my GPS talking, and in case you haven't figured it out, I use Waze. So you can find me on there. Mike Young Real Estate is my screen name on Waze, or for Facebook friends, you can find me on there. And it's great. I think that's a great app. You know, it reroutes you around traffic. It's not 100% accurate, but usually if you're on the interstate and it reroutes you, you're pretty sure you should go take that rerouting. Right here, it just tried to reroute me around some few streets because of this backup at the traffic light, which would not have been worth doing. So I just stayed the course. And the other thing is I've got the speedometer set. They recently really did a good job updating all the speed limits on all the different streets, and they're fairly accurate, although they're not 100%, that's for sure. I've noticed that. But you can set some alerts so that it does 2 beeps. It goes doot doot. And that means on my phone, the way I have it set up, that I've exceeded the speed limit by about 15%. So it's just a reminder to slow it down or get a ticket, which is a nice feature also. Something else I want to follow up on that I talked about yesterday is the sun. You may remember I was basically saying the sun is pretty dangerous, and I think it is for what I mentioned. For humans, it's pretty dangerous, but for plants, it's great. Actually, the sun is great for plants. The sun is great for solar electricity, but that's about it. Plants and solar electricity. Aside from that, I think it's really very dangerous. Like I said, for people, for buildings, for animals, for products you might have, man-made things. I don't see how it's good at all. Hey, to follow up on what I was saying about the sun, this is one of the best accessories I think anybody can buy for their vehicle, is a nice car cover. I use it on my car, and my car is now about 4.5 years old, I think. Got it in late May 2012. So it's really helped out a lot. Oh, and I found out about Hurricane Matthew from my neighbor in Florida, that everything's fine with my house and them as well. They over in the Ocala area, thankfully that was just inland enough. I even talked to friends in Orlando, and there was lots of wind and rain, but apparently just down trees and stuff, and nothing really much beyond that, so that's good. Something I need to do with my cooler, which you need to do with any cooler really, quite frequently on a regular basis if you're using it a lot like me, is to drain it. Which is, all you gotta do is open the drain valve. It starts to drain out, but it's not gonna do a complete and quick drain unless you also pop open the top while it's doing that. This one's pretty cool. It has the little, I don't know, whale tails or whatever that is design. Holds it open while it's draining out. So this is nice. Okay, I packed up everything from the truck, moved it back over to the car, and now I'm heading out to the rental property. I've got some showings here in just a little bit, right before sunset or right at sunset, around that time. Hopefully I'll be showing it to at least a couple people. And the car is driving really nice. I don't know if you all have ever noticed this, but at least I do. I always tend to notice a lot of smaller details, especially when I change the oil in a vehicle and the transmission fluid, just how much better it drives. It's smoother. It's just feels like it's working better overall, with those fresh fluids in there, because those fluids deteriorate slowly over time. And that's why you want to change it before they go bad, before they're worn out. And even when you do, I can still tell the difference. It's amazing how much of a positive effect clean fluids have. And you may notice you hear some rattling and stuff when my car is hitting bumps, and that's because I just filled the tires up. They were low, and I like to keep them really high, at least as high as I can. I keep them probably within 10% of the maximum amount on the sidewall, and I do that for fuel economy, because it really makes a big difference in the fuel economy, especially on a car like this, or any vehicle really, is the tire pressure. So within 10% of maximum is good, but you're gonna feel it in the ride. And I probably went from about 35 PSI to about 44. So that was a big jump. I wasn't really paying attention, and because of that, I got that low. And shouldn't have done that, but I was paying the price at the pump for sure, because I wasn't paying attention.
You've arrived at your destination.
Okay, pulling up to the house now. Don't see anybody there. We'll see when I get there. Alright, well, I've been driving a lot since I last got on camera, or started recording anyway. I'm down in Chester, Virginia. It's a suburb south of Richmond, Virginia, and about to get my dinner. Well, the people in the Chipotle here confirmed that the program did end in September, that rewards program. So done, no more card, can't do anything with it. And I want to give you an update. I did have 2 people show up at the townhouse for the rental and handed out 1 application, so that's good. And what else? Oh, one other thing is, I was talking about the gas mileage of my car. If you want to learn more about fuel economy tips, look at my Mike Young Real Estate channel. There's stuff about hypermiling and stuff like that on there. So you probably want to ask me, Mike, with all this driving you do you have a plan for gas? How to purchase gas? And yeah, I do. One thing I do is I use the Gas Buddy app, which is a great resource. It's a free app, tells you where the cheapest gas is. I actually usually go to use the map feature, and from the map feature I zoom in and look around me. It's an easy way to figure out without even knowing the area. And then whenever I choose a station, I'll choose a lot of times either Shell or Exxon, so I get rewards cards with them. And this is a Shell rewards card. I'm gonna put it in, and it's $1.91 here. Shell rewards, and it should bring it down about 3 cents a gallon if I use this. Yep, you have 3 cents a gallon. There we go. I really like this stretch of highway, Interstate 85, between Interstate 95 south of Richmond and the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area. It's just, there's not much here, and turn our lights on. And there's just not much traffic either, which is something I really like. I just like to, it's really, you can relax, you don't have to stress out driving here. Oh, one of the things I want to mention too about my plan for gas, I also, whenever I buy gas, I put it on a credit card. I have several of them that give really high rewards, anywhere between 2 to 5% for gasoline purchases. So I do that. I also have a Sheets card too, and of course I stop there sometimes. I told you about how I filled my tires there, try to get the best gas mileage possible, you know, because I'm driving so much. I want to get the best deal on the gas. I'm buying so much of it, at least way more than the average person. And you know, my car is extremely fuel efficient to begin with. It's probably one of the most fuel efficient vehicles you can buy in the real world anyway. I'd love to have an electric vehicle too, but the truth is that it's hard to make sure that you time the charging right with all the driving that I'm doing. And also, the best ones that are out there for long distance, the Teslas, have a pretty bad reliability rating. You know, Consumer Reports actually took them off their recommended list after the first year because of their below average reliability ratings. Like, I'm driving this Lexus car I've had for 4.5 years. I've never had any single thing go wrong with it. It's never been back to the dealer for even one thing. So this is kind of my benchmark now. I'm expecting every vehicle to be perfect. You know, so, and also it's great because I don't have to worry about, you know, having breakdowns or whatever, or there's just so much little, if any, downtime. That's really what's valuable and important to me. So I want to say a couple other things before the night's over about the suburban Maryland, DC real estate market. I noticed that in advertising this property for rent, and seeing other properties that are for sale in that area of suburban Maryland, that market I think is on the way down. That's my prediction. It ramped up quicker than others, which it typically does. It's a growth market, and now it's, I think, seeing a downturn probably in anticipation of other markets seeing similar in the near future. I just feel like the prices are dropping a little bit, the days of the market's going up, and especially with the rentals, I'm just not seeing such a great demand right now. Like, demand is falling. So, let's see. I know there was something else I wanted to mention too. Oh, well, it may be hard to tell. It's not really drizzling, but it was drizzling a little bit back in Chester. I think I'm starting to run into that rain from Matthew, but I don't think it's going to make it so much into Virginia, but probably by the time I get to North Carolina, I'll be in rain all day. I'm thinking tomorrow, Saturday, and that'll probably be what's going to hit North Carolina for the storm since it turned east. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you had a great time watching my video, and I'll see you again tomorrow.